People often have the misconception that if they are a good sleeper, they should be able to fall asleep and stay asleep the entire night. But actually, that's not necessarily the case even for the best of sleepers. And in this video, I'm going to talk about what normal sleep actually looks like in the context of someone who doesn't have insomnia and why awakenings in the middle of the night aren't necessarily a bad thing. Hi, if you don't know me, my name is Dr. Parky Lau. I'm a clinical psychologist and behavioral sleep medicine specialist, and I provide evidence-based treatments for chronic insomnia, such as cognitive behavioral therapy. And let's get on with the video. So first of all, it's important to recognize that sleep is not a monolith. We're not either asleep or awake, and it's just one of those two states of consciousness. But even within sort of the sleep period, there's multiple layers of sleep that happens throughout sort of a 60-90 minute cycle that happens a few times throughout the night, where we start with sort of this more stage one, stage two lighter sleep where we're more easily awoken if someone, for example, calls their name. But then we start to move into sort of a deeper stage of sleep, stage three, before going into something called REM sleep, which is rapid eye movement, where usually there's a lot more activity in our brain. And then we kind of go back into sort of a stage one with maybe, a slight awakening here as we go into the lighter stages. And then we repeat that cycle a few times throughout the night. And each of these stages of sleep have their own specific benefits. Like stage three sleep, slow wave sleep, that's usually when our muscles are building. We're kind of recovering from things that have happened during the day, maybe some memory consolidation. During REM sleep, we usually have more active dreams during that period, and maybe that there's something to be said about emotional consolidation during that period, emotional processing. So each stage in and of itself have their own specific functions, such that even if we're not getting as much deep sleep that we're thinking we're going to get, that other stages of sleep are also just as important in the context of supporting your overall well-being. And where we are in the sleep period also determines where we are likely to be during this sort of period of sleep. So for example, in the first half of the night, we spend much more time in the slow wave deep sleep. And in the second half of the night, we spend a lot more time in the lighter stages of sleep, as well as during REM sleep. So in that context, it's more likely for us to be awake in the second half of the night because we're less likely to be in a deeper stage of sleep. So it's kind of natural that, in a lot of ways, we have some of these more briefer awakenings that happen where we might wake up, toss and turn, or, we go to the bathroom for a few minutes, get back to bed, and fall back asleep. So it can be kind of reassuring to know that a lot of the sort of deep sleep that we feel like we need is already been expended and used in the first half of the night, so that such that, even if the second half is a little bit lighter, we've already gotten the sort of slow wave sleep that we wanted. And I really do want to emphasize that these awakenings are normal even for the healthiest sleepers. In fact, we're often awake probably like multiple times throughout the night. It's just that for many of us, these experiences are amnestic. We don't remember them because our arousal levels are pretty low. Our sleep appetite is high. So for the most part, we don't really kind of register these awakenings in the general, except for maybe that awakening where we went to the bathroom or went to get a glass of water. And I do want to highlight again that this is a very normal process, and it's not necessarily a sort of a fact that is associated with insomnia. But if you are interested in making sure that most of the night that you are asleep and these awakenings are as brief as possible, there are a couple of strategies that can be helpful. Number one is to reduce kind of like your arousal levels, especially as you get into bed, where for the most part you are quiet of mind and body, and you can kind of do whatever you want to kind of achieve that process. Like for example, doing some sort of wind down, maybe reading a light book, having the lights a little bit dimmed, watching a rerun of your favorite show, whatever kind of gets you into that sort of period that you just kind of feel nice and relaxed. And a second, more straightforward strategy that you can apply is to not necessarily go to bed just because there's a specific time on the clock on the wall that you're like, I should go to bed by 11. If you're not sleepy at 11, don't go to bed yet. Just wait a little bit longer. Maybe wait till 11:30, maybe even till 12. When you do feel a bit more of that sleepiness cue, you can leverage that extra sleep appetite to, when you go to bed, actually be able to expend that to be able to sleep a little bit more throughout the night. Of course, still waking up around the same time. So hopefully this video was helpful to normalize a little bit of those awakenings, especially in the middle of the night, especially the ones that make you feel like, oh gosh, like here we go again. I'm waking up, I should be able to sleep the whole way through, and otherwise I'm not getting high quality sleep. That it's totally normal for, most people to have a little bit of awakening in the middle of the night, and hopefully some of the other videos will be helpful if you're experiencing some more disruptive sleep in the middle of the night that you can leverage to be able to support you in your journey to good sleep health. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.